as far as the business of boxing?
The best thing is the fighter needs to take almost everything.
You paid all that money and had the biggest stage in boxing on Netflix, and that is really the best they could do?
He knew that he could not beat Bud Crawford, which is why they basically paid him $100 million.
Speaking on Joe Rogan's podcast about how the fight went, Canelo acknowledged that he had been easy on Crawford following his defeat. Played out. He has now clarified that he held himself back and didn't give it his all in the ring. Canelo claimed that he fought at half speed, remained flat-footed, and made Crawford appear better than he actually was. He acknowledged that he was paid to take it easy and not fight with his normal ferocity. And he added that money and business had an impact on how the fight played out.
Well, how does that work? Because it's not pay-per-view. Do they still...
Netflix putting up the money.
So I'm saying, so they don't get no back end then?
No, there is no back end. There's ticket sales.
Yeah, because you know, pay-per-view, the back end is the most.
There's no pay-per-view.
I guess if you give me $50 million up front, I don't really care about the back end.
He don't have the punching power, but he has the skills that's necessary.
Crawford.
Yeah.
So you were very impressed with his performance? Would you say?
Well, yeah. You know, the point of the matter is, you know, I knew if it came down to if somebody got knocked out, I thought Crawford would probably get knocked out.
Yeah.
But I know about.
This declaration supported the sentiments expressed by other boxers in the days following the bout. Both fans and experts saw right away that something wasn't quite right with Canelo's performance. One of the most crucial weapons in his career, the jab, was hardly ever used by him. He didn't use his typical rhythm to pressure Crawford or create combinations. Instead, even as the round slid away, he never displayed haste, frequently stood motionless, and only launched single shots. This was also evident in the punch counts, which included some of his lowest totals ever. Many initially believed he had just aged or slowed down, but his revelation changed the whole picture.
When he got hit by Crawford and he took that deep breath, it's frustrating. Don't get me wrong. Canelo facing the right opponent that's going to stay in front of him, that's going to fight, that's going to make it a brawl, Canelo knocks him out. So I'm not saying Canelo's shot or done. No, it's far from.
One of the first people to express suspicions was Oscar de la Hoya. He posted on the internet hours after the altercation, asking, "What was that? Canelo was slow, I know, but not that slow. Canelo was frail, but not so bad, as I am aware. Was Canelo paid to lose, or did he train?" The performance was unfamiliar to de la Hoya, who had been Canelo's longtime promoter. Canelo does not fight like this. And this was just to the contrary, according to de la Hoya, who had witnessed Canelo's productivity and sharpness in training camps. De la Hoya, who was watching him versus Crawford, didn't think it was just age. Gabe Rosado, a seasoned fighter, has also expressed his opinion. According to him, Canelo just used one punch at a time, had glued feet, and neither a jab nor a combo. According to Rosado, it is the sort of performance you would anticipate from an individual who is years past their prime rather than from a champion who is still winning titles. His remarks are exactly in line with what Canelo has since released. Canelo had doubled up his jab, countered with scathing combos, and maintained pressure on his opponents against Golovkin and other well-known fighters. Rado emphasized that there was none of that against Crawford.
Have any advice for them as far as boxing business?
Because, you know, the fighters always get the less money. And some of the fighters, they need to take the money, the guarantee money, right? Because they don't make a lot of money in the fights, right? But they are as a fighter.
According to Clarissa Shields, Canelo's body was just failing. According to her, he was immobile, unable to fire combinations, and had nothing left on his legs. She saw it as the inevitable conclusion of a lengthy career. At the time, that observation made sense. One of Canelo's biggest opponents, David Benvitz, has repeatedly claimed that Canelo sidesteps several difficulties. He maintained prior to the Crawford bout that Canelo avoided bouts that would really challenge him and only engaged in contests in which he had the upper hand. Benavidez reiterated after the bout that Canelo had lost interest in taking risks. Regarding the boxing industry, do you have any recommendations for them?
You see, Canelo is a strong fighter, and every punch he throws comes with power, right? That breaks down the body. Physically, his body is breaking down. Plus, he just had a kid. Canelo wants to go enjoy his life. He wants to keep his wits, keep his mind together, stay sharp, and go enjoy a little bit of that money that he just made. But he could not pass the torch to somebody that didn't respect the game. Canelo's at the top of the list. But Terence,
as stated by Benz and numerous others, Canelo had just received the large payout, and although some are shocked, Benavidez does not consider this to be unusual. In fact, he believes that Canelo will keep doing this. Oscar de la Hoya told Fight Hype that style was more important than deterioration in the outcome. He denied that Alvarez was done, but he acknowledged that careful pairing is necessary for the future. Do not misunderstand. Canelo is facing the ideal opponent who will remain in front of him, that will engage in combat, that will turn it into a fight. Canelo subdues him. I'm not suggesting that he's shot or done, though. It's not at all. According to De La Hoya, matchmaking is everything. It all depends on who you present to him. The main goal is to extract the remaining funds from the supporters.
Oh, Mac, you've been training Crawford for years. Is he retired or is he going to keep fighting?
He just got to take a break.
Is Terence Crawford retired or is he going to keep fighting?
Oh, he's going to keep fighting.
He's going to keep fighting?
Yeah.
You're the man. Be man. Hey, congratulations. Enjoy the win.
Thank you.
Thank you.
De La Hoya claims that there is a notion that Canelo can still triumph at the highest level, but only when facing styles that work in his favor. Eddie Hearn has a different perspective on the matter. He underlined the sporting and financial significance of a rematch with Crawford in an interview with Sports Illustrated. The true hook, in his opinion, is whether Canelo can allay retirement-related worries. Fans want to know if Alvarez will show adjustments or if Crawford will push him further toward the exit. Given the Mexican's history of reimagining his strategies, Hearn remarked, Canelo could surprise everyone with changes in his style. He thinks Alvarez can retrain himself with new abilities to seriously harm Crawford.
We already know, we knew Crawford is a great fighter, and I did what I supposed to do, right? I tried for every way, and I trained really hard, and he deserved all the credit. No, I tried.
Canelo made an immediate impression in the first bout. He dominated the first few rounds, keeping Crawford at bay with incisive replies. But things changed in the closing seconds. Crawford took control between rounds 9 and 12, putting Alvarez on the defensive with his cleaner shots. That stretch was crucial for many observers. According to Hearn, a better strategy in the later rounds could change the result in a rematch.
I would love to see the rematch. I think in the rematch, if he comes back with the hunger that he needs, he could beat Crawford. Because Crawford, you know, is very talented, but I think Canelo could beat him. Canelo's strong, man. Canelo's strong. Canelo could take a good punch. So I think he could just go and don't respect his punch and throw punches even though you're gonna get hit. But don't.
Chris Eubank Jr. expresses this hope, saying Canelo has the power to alter the course of events, and characterizing a second fight as enormous. According to him, when used properly, Alvarez's strength and experience are unrivaled. His backing emphasized the conviction held by numerous combatants. Canelo still possesses lethal weapons, but he needs to demonstrate that he is willing to change. Robert Garcia, the trainer, has also supported the rematch, claiming that hunger will make the difference. He might defeat Crawford if he returns with the hunger he requires. Garcia told Fight Hype that he thinks Alvarez should use his power advantage from beginning to end rather than relaxing off late in order to avoid the strategic errors of the first fight. Garcia's viewpoint mirrored the recurring motif in the sport. Canelo's abilities remain unaltered, but his next chapter may be defined by his will to use them to the fullest extent possible.
A potential rematch, as a Canelo fan, I don't really want to see that. I don't think there will be much difference. I don't think Canelo can bring anything to the table that's going to surprise Crawford. He's a different fighter now. If this was 10 years ago, yes, I think the fight could have gone a different way. But there's no point in even thinking that because Canelo's a different fighter now. They fought today. They fought when Crawford is older as well. So I can't be trying to say, well, Canelo's not in his...
Whether intentional or not, Crawford's victory over Alvarez has created fresh opportunities. Who he will face next, however, is up for question. According to some pundits, he will steer clear of the most dangerous opponents. Names like Bektemir Malikov, Diego Pacheco, Dimitri Bivol, and David Benz all represent formidable physical threats with the strength and bulk to counteract Crawford's cunning. It would be quite risky and uncertain to face them. Rather, it is anticipated that Crawford will select bouts with well-known names like Hamza Shiraz or Jermel Charlo that offer large payouts but little risk.
Between Terence Crawford and Canelo. Personally, I do not want to see a rematch. Usually rematches are in order when it's a very close fight and you can't really tell, which fighter won. There's a lot of close rounds, swing rounds. That wasn't the case in this fight. Terence Crawford won pretty handedly. I personally scored the fight 9-3. Being generous, you can give it 8-4.
This is when boxing's business aspect enters the picture. Crawford's success has put him in a position to demand large payouts. But how long he maintains that advantage will depend on how carefully he chooses his opponents. Canelo's choice will also influence the terrain in the meantime. The bout might garner a lot of international interest if he seeks instant vengeance against Crawford. He may be approaching the end of his career if he chooses a different path, possibly aiming for a more advantageous style.
I put Coca-Cola, I'm buying. I risk my life in the ring, and everybody's making money too. It's not that they don't making money; they making money, but the fighter need to make more than everybody.
Although Canelo is being criticized for his financial obsession, most people believe that money cannot undo the damage he caused by taking the large payout versus Crawford. In actuality, boxing has evolved to the point where financial battles dominate every aspect of the sport. Whether a fighter is past his best or is obviously slowing down is irrelevant. The battle is won if the numbers are quite high. This is what took place. Even though Canelo was losing ground, the Crawford bout was too lucrative to ignore. The issue is that a fighter's body continues to sustain harm even while the money keeps piling up. Additionally, it might have been Canelo's one paycheck too many.
Name to have just one name at 160, 154. I mean, it's just hard for him, ideally, to just see a fight. No names resonating at the moment. Would you be okay to see him retire?
I would. Look, he's had a great career also. Yes, he's older, but...
Following the defeat, Coach Ronnie Shields made it clear that he wanted Canelo to retire. What I saw against Crawford told me enough, he told Fight Hub TV. It's finished. Energy was not visible to him. Sharpness, and the old Canelo's ability to slow down and stroll fighters down were not visible to him. Shields believes that changing trainers or altering strategies is not the solution. Father Time has arrived. He stated, "No coach alive can save Canelo at this stage." Eddie Reynoso on fire. Get a new employee. It won't make any difference. His body is no longer reacting. Furthermore, no amount of training can undo it once it occurs.
Round as a potential opponent for Canelo, but the big question has been, is Christian ready for that opportunity? Is he ready for the moment? Do you feel after this Saturday that you are ready for a fight with whoever wins the fight against Crawford and Canelo?
I'm born ready.
Yeah, I'm born ready. Yeah. I'm born ready.
Oscar De La Hoya, however, expanded on this with another perspective. As a promoter, he continues to believe that something can be done to make things more interesting. He claimed that if Canelo splits with Reynoso and hires a new coach, possibly even someone like Shields himself, he could be able to prolong his career. Shields, however, instantly rejected that, claiming that there is a deeper problem. Since he was a teenager, Canelo has been competing at the highest level. That equates to years of combat, training grounds, and punishment. Crawford, however, has fresher legs, fewer fights, and fewer vicious battles. According to Shield, Canelo's body is essentially yelling for him to stop. Additionally, it will get worse the longer he ignores it.